Welcome back to Livin Room Podcast without the G. I'm your host for today, Dom, with the boys, Jason and Bryan. And today we got a special guest, Dame from the game, otherwise known as Carlo.
I was like, what's he gonna say? Long pause, dramatic pause.
I can't think of anything.
There you go. That's good.
What's going on?
Welcome to the pod.
Appreciate that. Appreciate
First time on the pod.
the warm welcome. Appreciate the
Hype intro.
I kind of feel like it was like when you're starting a basketball game, like Dame, Carlos, Lopez. I'm like,
well, Dom's got that announcer voice.
yeah, he's got it.
I just think of wrestling, and that's
Man's blessed. You ever think of getting into like voice acting?
No, you are the second person to tell me that.
Oh, really?
The first person wasn't a dating profile. Because I had a random like voice clip, and I was like, "This profile is sponsored by Squarespace."
Yeah, because I feel like you have the voice for just doing like announcer type things, but I've seen you do like voice impressions of characters.
Yeah,
So I want to see how far you can like push that too.
I never thought about
You
it.
do like your art stuff, and then you voice your own art stuff.
I
There
could
you go.
honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be phenomenal. That'd probably be a great idea.
Yeah, honestly. But
We
this is
need a
about
team when
me.
you
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's about the boys.
It's about
Dame.
Dame from the game.
So what's going on, guys?
No, what's going on with
What's
you?
going on with you?
What's going on with you?
We've been
What
talking
you
about
been
what's
on?
been going on.
What you been doing?
What's on your mind? What you been up to?
Yeah, exactly.
Man, life's been great, man. Life's been great.
That's good, that's good.
Whole lot of growth in the last 6 months, specifically in the last 3 months since the year started.
Nice.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
yeah, just like how you guys were talking about, because I overheard you guys on the last podcast, which is being in the hyperbolic chamber,
Yeah,
Training.
Yeah, man, it's just phenomenal, right? Stepping away from like social media, stepping away from like different things, different vices, you know what I mean? And kind of like entering a state of have you heard like a state of asceticism, you know?
I thought we were seeing Nirvana.
But more so like
Tired life.
a state of like, of like training. You know what I'm saying? A state of like refining myself as a person. So it's been phenomenal, man. There's a lot of growth going on.
Like, what are the
Awesome.
main goals that you're trying to accomplish in the 6 months or the 3 months you were referencing?
Yeah, so specifically just trying to get better as a man, better as a man, better as a leader.
Yeah.
More
What does
so
that
by
mean?
well, it starts. For me at least, it starts by controlling my own emotions, right?
Okay.
Controlling my own impulses,
Oh yeah.
and then keeping my focus. I think that was the biggest thing, right? I think I realized that like I'm easily distracted.
I
You
think
know?
yeah, a lot of
that's all of us here, bro.
Shit. We're just human,
Yeah.
And so like we have constant stimulation from every which way.
Right.
And one of the most powerful things I think was taking a step back from like social media, taking a step
Oh.
back from a lot of things on my phone, kind of
I
like
agree.
simplifying my world. It's been so amazing, man, so amazing. Because like it's just there were so many years that had passed where I'm like, okay, I want to accomplish X, Y, and Z,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
I know what's important to me, right? But I feel like I'm not making real progress. I'm like taking 1 step, 2 steps forward, 1 step back,
Yeah.
2 steps forward, 1 step back.
Mhm.
It's like I don't understand that as a human, right? I'm gonna be taking steps back. It's just is what it is,
Yeah.
Mhm.
But how do I consistently take more steps forward, regard whether they're big or small?
Mhm.
You know,
Just progress.
no
Yeah.
progress.
Yeah.
So you
And
dropped
so-
it like completely social media, or do you just like
Deleted
kinda
those
limit it?
apps?
Yeah, I just deleted that.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
haven't really been on them unless like I got like a link or something to watch
Yeah.
a video. But yeah,
Re-download it. Delete
Yeah,
it
just
again.
real quick. Okay,
it was
you're done.
interesting, bro, because like I got off like Instagram and like I never had Twitter, but I got off Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah.
And never had TikTok either. But then like
It's probably for the better that you never
Yeah,
got TikTok.
I had to drop TikTok.
But then like I ended up getting into YouTube, right? Just
Well,
watching
YouTube
Yeah.
is
a bunch of
dangerous.
shit. YouTube is fucking dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but then like just taking a step back from that as well.
Mhm.
And just kind of trying to eliminate more and more things. There's this phrase from this this one influencer that I used to follow, but he was pretty good at like for like motivation, like health stuff and all that stuff. But his main theme was addition by subtraction, right? It's not about what you add; it's about what you take away.
Mhm.
And you realign yourself with what your end purpose is
Mhm.
by like removing things that don't align with it.
Yeah.
And so I guess that's been a theme for.
And what do you mean? Why do you say used to? What happened? Why you don't follow him now?
Oh,
Did he get canceled?
Dude, that's a great question, bro. Because
Or you
Oh,
just
say.
off social media, you don't follow anyone anymore like that.
well, that's one of the reasons.
Okay.
right? But the other reason is like this shit could also get like real toxic. You
Yeah,
know?
of course.
Like what do they call it? Like that hustle culture.
The
That shit
hustle.
is that shit is fucking
Grindset.
toxic, bro. Because like again, we're fucking human. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We can't be on 100% of the time. And their whole selling point is digging into people's insecurity that they're not good enough, right? And the more they can sell you that, the more they can dig into that for you or in you, then the more bought in you are because you're more dependent on having somebody tell you you're not shit if you don't work out today. You're
Right.
not shit if you're not making X amount. You're not shit if boom boom boom, right?
Yeah.
And so that was another reason, right?
Okay.
Detaching from that stuff because it's like if you're in a constant state of like self-deprecation,
Mhm.
you're just never gonna be good enough, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like they're creating problems so they can offer you a solution. 'Cause
Yep.
otherwise, like their product has no value.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
Yep. Which is actually in sales, I feel it's
It's
In-
smart, but like
it's smart.
Yeah.
It's smart.
It's
It's
very
toxic.
yeah.
And like there is like when you're selling something, I feel like it's very important to uncover right their problems, the deeply rooted problems, and how important it is for somebody to solve those problems.
Mhm.
But I think there's also having like ethics, right, and like some sort of like doing it tastefully, right? There's one thing to like help somebody uncover a problem they didn't know they have, right, and then providing a solution or offering them a solution or a path out of it.
Mhm.
But then there's also like shitting on people.
Yeah.
Right? You know, once you've uncovered or somebody's opened up to you, like and shitting on them, like
Mhm.
it just doesn't make you a
Yeah.
good person. I feel.
It's kind of like the culture of how it became now in like 21st century, especially how big social media's gotten. It's kind of like, look at me, I'm doing this, I have this, I make this amount of money.
Yeah.
So just like you're always in a state of comparison, either by your parents or yourself to like your
Yeah.
peers. But then it kind of like goes into realization. It's kind of like ever since like high school, everyone's kind of like, there's a race, everyone's running it, everyone's gonna get to the finish line, but everyone's going their own pace.
Right.
So you gotta like can't compare yourself to other people, but it's like
Yeah.
human nature for us to like compare ourselves to other people. It's like, oh, this person's a
Doing all this
doctor,
stuff,
this person's a dentist,
Like,
a
what am I
lawyer.
doing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'm barely making like a living, you know, this person's
Yeah.
but also
Yeah.
it's like a mask too. People maybe
You don't have the whole picture.
yeah,
right?
they're like, oh, on all these exotic locations or vacations and locations, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
But that could just be them like putting on this mask of like,
Yeah,
oh, I'm
exactly.
actually depressed. I actually need, and then I'm in so much debt,
Yeah.
but I need this, like as Carlos was saying, like self gratification of people liking or loving my
Yeah.
post, whatever it is, or viewing it even, you know,
Mm.
depending on the media that you're posting it on.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But I think you're on the money too. It's comparison is a thief of all joy. You know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Which I think we could dive into like, you know, phrases that we've heard our entire lives that hold
Mhm.
so much truth,
Mhm.
right? But because we've heard it frequently, like it doesn't impact us.
Yeah.
Us
Well,
as
it's a
much
sense
as
of like going numb for sure.
going numb for
Yeah.
sure. And then like the comparison portion is like, yeah, bro. Like if you're always comparing yourself to somebody else, it's just
Right.
like, and I don't know. I know I've experienced that. I'm not sure if like you guys have experienced
Oh,
it as well.
definitely.
You know, I don't want to assume, but yeah, man, it's just like you can keep running your race, and then if you're always looking at somebody else and what they got,
That's ahead of you, right?
Yeah.
it's always
in the
ahead
race,
of you.
you're
Yeah,
right.
it's like you're just gonna be
Chasing their
unhappy.
shadow and stuff like
Yeah.
that, you know?
Yeah. Like I've had situations where friends that are close to me, right?
Mhm.
They're older, right? They're very refined, you know what I'm saying? They're doing a thing. They're really good at specifically like sales, right?
Mhm.
They're really good at it. And so it's just like you're looking at it like, dude, how can somebody be so fucking smooth, bro? You know what I mean? Like how can you know what I'm saying? And then you try to like start to mimic like their phrases, mimic how they
The
position themselves.
mannerisms and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then it comes out fabricated. It comes
Yeah,
out fucking
it's
weird,
not
you know?
Yeah.
Fake, yeah.
Yeah. And then so
That's big on
she-
social media. Like a lot
Do you
of
believe
people
in
are
like fake it till you
fake.
make it though?
Yeah.
Not fake it. No, that's a great question. Not fake it. I think more so. Act in alignment. That's what I would say I believe in. Right.
Okay.
So like what, acting like what you value? Is that what do you mean by like alignment?
Yeah. So if let's just say if my goal is to be like a successful, I don't know, successful entrepreneur.
Right.
Okay.
Mhm.
What would an entrepreneur do in this moment that's successful? that I can follow in those footsteps, right? In my mind, what I believe a successful entrepreneur would do.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't necessarily mean buy the cars and buy the big
The
face,
chains.
the chains, or the,
The
The
fucking,
bling, the bling, you
bling,
know.
all the showy
Well, you can't even
stuff.
do that until you actually are rich. Well,
Right.
some people go into debt. Like,
Yeah, you can
doing
go into
dumb
debt.
shit like that.
You can rent it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
you
yeah.
can actually rent jewelry, which is fucking nuts.
That's
So
crazy.
like what I was thinking about was like kind of like studying, like let's say you want to be like a rich entrepreneur, like you kind of study what habits you have, and like because a lot of the habits that they have are probably not like natural to you.
Mm.
So like you might have to kind of like fake it till you make it in a way where like you might have to start waking up at 4 a.m. and then getting on like a meditation routine so that you're like kind of warmed up to like start your day. And like people just don't naturally do it, but if you copy it and you like go through the motions, eventually it's going to feel natural, and then
Yeah.
it'll get you further than what you were doing before.
You know what, man?
So-
That's a phenomenal. That's a great insight.
Yeah.
I
I didn't get that from anywhere. I just like pull it out of my ass, basically.
Yeah. Internalized it.
Deep
Well, there's
thinking.
truth though.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
you're right.
That's great. One thing I will say is so recently as well, like started getting back in the gym because I got that girlfriend way. I put on some couple pounds, and what happened was that I started getting back into basketball training because I fucked up my knee about a year ago.
Yeah.
Mhm.
She was nasty, bro. I went up for a layup, right? And so
Yeah.
you can go. I went offhanded layup, right?
Was it non-contact?
Non-contact.
Oh, those
when
ones are the worst.
when I came down on my knee, I just felt my knee shift out of place.
Oh, you hit the ground.
I hit the
knee
ground
first. Ooh.
Yeah. No, I landed on my leg and then my knee shifted, so my weight
God.
was coming down.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
You
bro.
get PT for that, or
No, because I didn't have health insurance at the time.
oh god. So
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
That was
Did it just grow like the wrong way or something? Now it's like permanently. like,
Well, what's
fucked?
interesting is that like about a month and a half ago, before I started training with one of my homies, who was actually part of the fraternity as well.
Mhm.
My knee is called ligament laxation,
Mhm.
right? So when you when you stretch something out, right, it's not gonna be as strong
Right.
as it once was,
Mhm.
Mhm.
right? And so like I would any shift in my knee, I would just feel it pop, like just shift out of place.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Excuse me. And so this shit felt fucking weird, bro. This shit felt nasty.
sure.
Yeah.
Ah, sounds brutal.
And then what happened was that I started getting back in the gym, started doing basketball training again. And so like now my knee is much stronger. But going back to what we were just talking about, one thing that he kept reiterating to me, right? Obviously because I'm not as athletic as him.
Mhm.
And when we were playing basketball, we're on the court, we're doing our thing, right? He was actually he told me something, right? That stuck with me that I heard growing up, playing basketball, playing in on teams that coaches would say. But he would say, because I play a much slower game when I'm on the court, right? But it
Mhm.
works because a lot of people expect to just go really fast all the time, or there's a traditional pace that you play at, But if you play at a slower pace, it doesn't seem like you might not think, oh, this guy's not effective.
Yeah.
But if you understand like angles, you understand like movement, you understand where's people positioning, all that stuff,
Right.
you could be very effective. And so one thing he was telling me, he's like, dude, you don't have to, because I was like, I gotta get faster. He's like, bro, you already know how to play. He's like, just play your game, master your own pace.
Mhm.
And I was like, wow. And that goes back to the conversation we were having earlier. It was like,
Yeah.
dude, as long as you play your own game, you don't have to, maybe you don't adopt every single habit that the rich entrepreneurs have.
Mhm.
But if you adopt it to a certain degree and mold it to what
yourself,
you already
yeah.
do, like I think that's a recipe for success for sure.
We're
Yeah.
also like creatures of habit. So
Mhm.
doing something, especially good habits, like establishing those, it takes time for those
Yeah.
to be created. So if you want to wake up, as the example Ryan was saying, at 4 a.m. to like start your day early and end your day early, it's basically like you're waking up early before your competition in a sense.
Yeah.
But your body's not used to that, so it's gonna take time.
You gotta
to do
discipline
that.
yourself,
Yeah,
yeah.
discipline
Mhm.
yourself to do that. But
Mhm.
1 or 2 bad days could completely destroy
Yeah,
that
undo
because it's so
everything.
easy to make a bad habit. It takes weeks to months, maybe years, even to make a good habit. So
Yeah, 100%. It also depends on whether it's natural to you.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like you said. But if you're inching your way, I think it's it just makes the process much more effective,
Mm.
Mhm.
makes it much more easier, much more enjoyable.
right.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to fucking wake up at 4 o'clock, bro. That's just not what I'm trying to do.
I mean, there's night
Too
owls
early.
and they're morning birds. So
Yeah,
not,
yeah,
not
100%.
everyone's a morning bird. So.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you guys think there was more night owls or like morning people?
I
Like
feel like
in
there's more
general?
night owls.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's
I
like
think so.
by generation or not generation, like the age group, I guess. Like I know
Well,
like
it's a generation.
teenagers.
I mean,
Yeah,
you're
good
right. For
point,
some
yeah.
reason.
Yeah, it's like I feel like the teenagers, like young adults, like I think they're more.
Oh, when
apt
like
to,
they get to that age.
yeah, and
it
then like once you
changes
hit your
what you
like
are.
40s, like
Okay, I get
50s,
what you're saying
then
now.
like I think I remember learning about this in psychology, but like you become a morning person. Like it's natural for like older people to become morning people, and I think a lot of society is structured to like to factor that in. Like most of like the CEOs and like upper management are gonna be morning people and stuff like that. And it's like it's more productive when like the sun is out as well.
Yeah.
So
It's also based on situation because like ideally when you think you're more older, you'd have like more responsibilities. For example, like you're married,
Mhm.
you have kids, so maybe you have to wake up early because you have to take your kids to school
Mhm.
or take them to their activities or stuff along that. So maybe the reason of them waking up early is not because they want to. It's like
Yeah.
other factors that are.
but then that begs
causing
the
that.
question, like why can't we have like like elementary, middle school, and high school be at like nighttime or something? Well, I guess like
Dang, I can't
Yeah.
even picture that. That'd be weird.
That'd be
I mean, like,
so weird.
okay, you think of like
well,
Las
safety for sure.
Las Vegas, like people work on the opposite schedules there
Yeah.
because
a great point.
most people are up like gambling. So then
They don't close.
the hospitals, like I think there's gonna be a lot more people that are doing night shift because there's more people awake during night shift.
Mhm.
You know, even like one of like the boxers I follow, like Floyd Money Mayweather, he was the kind of guy that I think he would wake up at like 6 or 7 p.m. and then he would start his training then and going like running out in the dark, and then he would I don't know if he would gamble or like do like all the fun stuff, and then he would sleep at
I think it's safety because if you're
Yeah,
kids,
9 or 10.
yeah, you want to
Yeah.
be there's
Pitch
if it's a
black
pitch
outside,
black,
yeah.
the probability of something going wrong is a lot more likely
That's a great point.
in the
Yeah.
day. So like getting kidnapped or something
Yeah.
like that, or
I think it also follows because they supposedly, I don't know, this is what I heard.
Yeah.
They supposedly they structured the school system to follow like the factories and warehouses, right? Because that would train kids to be able to enter the workforce right
Oh, that
after,
makes
right?
sense. Yeah.
From like
Mhm.
100 years ago or some shit like that. And if you go to different countries like Mexico, I can only use as a reference,
Mhm.
right? They have a different like schedule. They start a little bit later in the day. I think they started like 9 instead of like 7:30 out here, right?
I
They
thought
start at
'Nine was normal. So
Shoot,
'Cause I-
that'd be nice. I think like my high school started at like 7:30, bro. I'm fucking-
It's like
my
it was
early
like
shift
8,
was like
yeah.
5:45 or 6 in the morning at like a job,
yeah,
but now I have like a job that's like 9 a.m.
Yeah.
like in person. So it's
It's like the 9 to 5. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah,
the
Yeah,
stereotype.
the-
9 to
Yeah,
5.
Yeah.
traditional
there's like
stuff.
first shift, second, like all that stuff.
yeah. So then like then they'll go to school for like a few hours, and then they'll take like a 2-hour break, and then they'll go back at like 3.
That's how some European like businesses are set up too. They like
Really?
have like a morning shift and then they have like a break and then they have like another like the evening
afternoon shift,
Yeah.
Huh.
Mhm.
And there's
Yeah.
stuff like out here too, but it's like they're more like the mom and pop small shops.
Yeah.
They close for like they have their lunch service, for example, like a restaurant,
Mhm.
and they would close for like 2 hours, set up for dinner service.
Great point. Yeah,
So-
great point.
Yeah.
Also, isn't it like Japan? Don't they do that in like Japan or something like that?
Isn't
Well,
what
they just like literally at like 3 o'clock or sometime like essentially the country shuts down because they're at home for lunch or dinner or something.
Oh,
I have
really?
no
Yeah,
idea.
something like
actually.
I wouldn't be surprised. Japan's different. So,
They're really strict with,
in
like,
many
time.
different ways.
Yeah,
So I'm not
yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't know actually.
I know they do like their school and like their work schedules are like it's unnecessarily long.
Uh-huh.
Just
Yeah,
from
especially
like what I've
work.
read, it's like it could be like they'll have like a 12-hour slot for just like if you're in school, you learn for maybe half of that, but then you're doing like mandatory like after school activities and stuff like that. Like
yeah.
you could choose which activity you want to do, but you got to do something.
Mhm.
And then like all of your social life, everything like is like at school. You go home and then you try to get your homework done and try to sleep as much as you can. And then you come back and do that. And then when you're in the workforce, like it might be like also like 12 hours of like being at work, but you're not productive for 12 hours. Like you
Yeah.
might only be
Mhm.
productive for like 6. And then like
Yep.
some people sleep on the job and it's like
It's
that's
okay.
what's
Really
respectful
bad.
because
Yeah.
it's like it shows that like it's like it's a whole like optics thing where it looks like you worked so hard that you fell asleep, so that's like
Mm.
honorable.
Yeah.
But like in reality, like I would rather spend that time at home or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be more comfortable.
Especially the
It's a great family.
salarymen, like they get like even teachers too, like get like hooked on like their upper management telling them to go out and drink or
Yeah, I was
whatever.
gonna say that,
It's
yeah.
like a daily thing
They
too.
have to do it after
right?
their job.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah, you
Are
have
you
to do it.
serious?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you
have
have
to
to do
go.
that.
In Japan?
Yeah.
That's
That's why they
fucking
get.
dope.
That's why they're
Sign me
long
up.
nights.
Sign me up.
It's just like long hours though. That's the only thing. Like their work culture is not the best
It's-
because of the.
yeah.
I mean,
It's like-
yes, the after effect, but like doing that every day, you know,
Yeah.
it,
It gets to you
takes
at
a
some
toll.
point,
yeah.
yeah.
I'm sure, yeah.
It's like I heard in Germany, it's like 6 hours a day for 5 days a week or something like that. And I think it could be flexible, like less days as well.
Mm.
But they really work your ass off for 6 hours, like no break. But then you get to go home 2 hours early, and like
Uh-huh.
it's.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
I'd prefer that.
Well, there's other
that sounds
countries that
better.
are adopting like a 4-day work week or even some. I don't know if it's fact yet, but even like possibly considering like a 3-day work week. Obviously, your
Oh, wow.
hours would be longer, but you have
This was
more of
like-
a weekend. You know,
Yeah.
so
12-hour days or something? Or?
yeah, something like that.
I
you know?
prefer that, like 12 hours, 3 days a week.
That actually
Yeah.
sounds,
Yeah.
that sounds
Because like
bad.
you're
Yeah.
already like you have momentum going for you already. You might as well
Yeah.
stay there longer and
Right,
get more shit done.
right.
nurses do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
they
it's,
work 36 hours a week,
yeah.
3 days on, the rest of the week they're off.
Mm.
Doesn't sound bad.
It doesn't
Yeah.
sound bad at all.
Yeah.
Because you're right. Like you're already there.
Yeah.
You're locked in. You might as
Yeah.
well just dedicate a full day to work, and
Yeah.
then the other days you can do whatever the fuck you
Yeah,
want.
4 days for
Right.
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of like with the system right now, like having like a 9 to 5, 5 days a week and being salaried. I feel like it's kind of easy to like overwork like employees without like making it look so obvious because like sometimes the work does take 12 hours, but then because you're salaried, you're working like an extra
working for free,
4 hours for
essentially.
free,
Yeah.
basically.
Mhm.
But then you still have to go to the office like the 5 days a week. Whereas like
Oh, yeah.
if you did less days a week but like longer hours, then I feel like it's like still less work, but you don't have to show up as much
Yeah.
because you have that whole day off. So
Yeah, man. There's I've had conversations with other people who have like employees or something like that, right? And I guess this is a little bit different, but they have employees who they pay W-2, whatever,
Right.
And so I actually had just had somebody who was just telling me, oh yeah, well, yeah, my employee, she's on the dot 3:59, she's already packing, she's ready to go.
mhm.
And in my mind, like he was saying it in like a negative way, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
In my mind, I'm like, well, that's what she signed up for.
Right.
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like that's what you signed her
Can't
up for
expect
too.
extra,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
It's like
Mhm.
she's not fucking like people have different ambitions. People have different like goals.
Yeah.
Right? If you wanted to fucking grind all day and fucking not sleep, you know what I'm saying? She'd probably do that somewhere
Yeah.
else. You know what I'm saying? For
Yeah.
herself.
Yeah.
You know? She's here to come work, use her skill sets to earn a check, right?
Yeah.
Go take that check and go enjoy your life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
It's
saying?
basically like the saying is like, you don't live to work, you work to live. You know.
work to
Yeah,
live,
exactly,
So
bro.
you want to do other things outside of work. So that's like
Yeah.
your mindset.
Yeah.
So-
100%. And it's
Right.
like, that's fucking great. That's good too. You know what I'm saying? That's what you want,
Right.
right? Because then she's gonna be happy. She's
Right.
gonna come back to work happy. You know what I'm saying?
She'll get
gonna,
more done
Yeah,
because
get
she's
more done,
happy.
'cause she's not stressed out.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fucking. Yeah, I never understood like people being condescending towards that. I was like, what? Like, how does that make sense?
Yeah, but like going back to Japan, like I heard that or there was some kind of like street interview, and they were like I think they were Americans asking the Japanese people and asking them like, so like your work culture, do you guys like to job hop like every 2 to 5 years or whatever to get more pay? And they're like, what are you talking
Yeah, they
about?
don't
like
have a concept of that.
they like they
They're
graduate
lifers.
college and then they join a company and
They,
then
like, they stay
the
there.
company takes care of them and like gives them like proper raises as they move up the corporate
Yeah.
ladder, and they can't even like if they get fired from a job, like it feels devastating because
It's
people
really hard to
don't
get fired
normally-
too, I think.
yeah, people don't normally like you have to really like fuck up real
Yeah.
bad to to be kicked out of a company, and then like your reputation looks bad because now everybody knows like, oh, you worked here for so long, like why
What
are you
happened?
suddenly here
Yeah.
at like
Yeah.
40 years old,
Isn't that
Um,
interesting how like Japan honor and reputation is such a huge part of their culture?
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think it's a good thing
Yeah.
like in some aspects.
Mhm.
I don't really like shame culture in general, but
Mm.
sometimes it's effective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's some level of effectiveness to that, right?
Well, it's more like
Because-
passive aggressive in Japan.
Yeah.
they'll be like
They
they'll
won't-
indirectly tell you. They won't like straight up like, no, this is wrong. You
Yeah.
know, they won't get like to be very blunt to it. They'll
So,
be like, hopefully this person gets the hit.
Yeah.
You know,
like at Japanese game companies, instead of firing you, they'll like make your job like super boring, so with the hopes that you like resign.
Oh wow,
I
really?
don't remember where it happened. I think it was like Namco. They were like, just put people like in this room and like, oh, you're not making games anymore. You're just gonna organize these files for 12 hours. Because they want to fire you or lay you off. They want you to resign.
Yeah.
Oh
Which
shit.
will make your job super like
dude.
miserable. Or like Konami, they had like, oh, you're gonna work at the Konami gym now. This is your job now. Yeah.
So like, what would you do if you were in that situation? Would you just tough it out and hopefully they
Yeah,
get you back your
change
Shit,
job?
if the pay's still good, I'll sit at the gym. I don't care.
You know what's interesting, bro? Like what like how is it to work at large corporations that build like let's say games or put out music or like co-sign music or something like that,
Yeah.
like a distribution label or something? Like how is it to like be creative within like that corporate structure? You know what I'm saying? Because it's like it almost seems like you got to put some shit out. Like you were saying, you got to churn.
push out,
You got to push some shit out, you know? Because that's how we make money and that's how we're able to
It's a lot
pay
of
you.
pressure. It's
It's a lot
like
of pressure.
you're not feeling creative at the moment, but you have to be, or
Yeah.
else you're not gonna get paid.
That's hard.
So
Yeah.
So
Well,
when that
tied to
happens-
gaming, like video gaming, the video game industry has gotten very like reserved and like actually taking like collaborative or not collaborative, like big like jumps and
Yeah.
seeing if things work or don't because they're scared of
There's so much money
failure.
behind it too.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
exactly behind it because maybe the audience won't attract to it because
Yeah.
of the risk they took.
Yeah.
But I think that's the beauty of it. Now it's like all the AA or indies are like the ones that are taking these risks and
Yeah.
seeing what works.
All
'Cause
the big
everyone's-
ones are just
yeah.
like, oh, stick to this. This works.
Yeah, this works,
Yeah.
right? Doing the remakes, the reboots, stuff
is
like
safe.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
So,
They have less to lose.
exactly.
I mean, I think that ties into like big artists too that we know. You know,
Mhm.
like I'm a Drake fan. All right.
I mean,
You know what I'm saying? Drake is the
I'm also
GOAT.
a Drake fan. Like, I
Drake
don't
is the
really
GOAT.
like. I don't know if he's the go, but like, I don't necessarily stand for his like his shenanigans. I guess. Like, I can't really think of like
Yeah.
But like I've always been the type to like separate the artist from the art.
Yep.
That's like me personally. Like I'll still listen to like R. Kelly, like
Mhm.
Michael Jackson.
Mhm.
You know, everyone's done some like weird shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
It's true. Everybody's on some weird shit.
it just depends if it sees the light of day.
Yeah,
That's the only
true,
thing.
true.
Right, Jason? Right?
Right. Hey, we're not supposed to
Yeah.
talk about that.
This is actually a confession
Yeah.
episode.
So
Is that an Usher reference? Or?
So in the year of
but yeah,
But we're
bro,
not
like
P Diddy fans.
well, although the other day I was fucking listening to "I Need a Girl," right? The
Yeah.
song.
Yeah,
I'm like, bro, that shit's so fucking fire. Bro.
yeah.
Or there's this like he has a monologue in one of Rick Ross's old albums called Mastermind, and then that shit is so fucking fire, bro. Like that shit fucking speaks to me. It's weird, but he's like, but then I'm like, I caught myself, I'm like, man, is it weird that I'm like getting fired up right now? Like, but yeah, no, so like Drake, right? Like fucking early albums are great. His early mixtapes are fucking great, you know. But now it's like, man, as much as disappointing as it is to say it, like I didn't even listen to his like his two newest albums, which is like the fucking More Sexy Songs for You. I'm like, what the fuck is this, bro? And then the one which is with PND. And I love the work that he did with PND before. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then the one that he did before that, they got like the two angels on the screen, where it's like on the album cover, which I think was decent, but it wasn't nothing that was like, because it all sounds the same now.
Yeah.
Because he knows what's gonna like hit.
It's
You
like
know,
formulaic
Yeah.
now.
yeah, it's formulaic exactly, bro.
Yeah.
And it's just like
Yeah.
I don't appreciate that.
I mean, like
Yeah.
the latest album that I liked of his, or the most latest, but it's not necessarily new. Certified Lover Boy. Actually, like
Fire,
I like pretty much every song of that album.
fire.
And I can even say that about like a lot of rappers. Like I might
Yeah.
like two or three songs from the album, but then after that, like I felt like it was just going downhill.
Yeah,
Mhm.
And part of it was because I think it's because he started producing his own shit, and it's he's not a good producer. And like honestly, I've heard rumors that he doesn't even write his own lyrics. And
Yeah, I've heard that too.
yeah, people are like posting like TikToks and Instagram reels where he's on like a radio show and they're like, "Hey Drake, I want you to like freestyle on this," and then they start playing the beat. He's like, like, you know, like I don't think I can give my best. Just give us something. He's like, I don't want to give too much. He's like, just give us something.
Yeah.
He's like, nah, man, like I'm not gonna do
That
this.
kind
And
of
he's like,
I ain't doing that.
can you call yourself a rapper if you can't freestyle? Because like I feel like you still.
Oh, I seen a
can.
video on
Yeah.
X on that where he couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I was like, dang.
Like I want to get into rapping, but then it's like the expectation of having to
Freestyle.
freestyle because it's hard.
yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like the expectation is gone though, because I know like in the past, I think when we were growing up,
Mhm.
right, I think it was like very important for people to be able to freestyle. You know what I mean? That was like
Yeah.
a thing. Like that was a
It
thing.
was like before its time,
Especially like
the
high
80s and
school,
90s.
you'd be like make a random table beat, you know?
yeah,
Everyone's just
table.
like, go spit something freestyle.
Just like a bunch of
Just,
nonsense.
But
Yeah.
even like Sway in the morning, you know what I'm saying? Like Sway in the morning growing up, like early 2010s,
Mhm.
early to mid 2010s, like that shit was still fire. Like you'd have artists come in,
Uh-huh.
they put like they called it the 5 songs like that, some shit like that, right? So they put 5 beats.
Yeah.
And then they were like, all right, 5 beats, random as fuck. You don't even know what's coming. Rap, you know? And you're
Yeah.
on air. And so like there's some artists that would fucking destroy that shit. And then they would oh yeah, they call it the hyenas. If you killed it, you're a hyena.
You're a hyena.
Yeah.
And if you're a fucking if you couldn't do it,
Yeah.
right, they'd be like, look at you sideways, you know?
But
But if you're gonna,
What is
bro,
this?
honestly, I don't think there's a huge like, because now it's like it's blended. It's like rap and R&B is kind of like merged together, to where like
well,
nobody's
like, R&B
fucking-
isn't even R&B anymore. Like it's
not,
kind of like
no.
trap soul. Like it's
Yeah, Brian Tiller
Weird.
started that shit.
yeah.
Yeah, which he's fucking tough. He's
Yeah.
awesome.
But like
Yeah.
R&B back in the day used to be like, when I think like 80s and 90s, like these real like drums and these like real like instruments. Now it's like virtual stuff like synthesizers,
Yeah.
like trap beats. Everything's like
Mhm.
hard hitting and whatnot. Which
Yeah.
like I think it sounds good. I'm like a big fan of like that kind of music.
Yeah.
But you could say it's like completely different from like what your parents would listen to.
Right,
So,
right. But
so-
again, nobody's gonna ask Bryson Tiller to freestyle.
well,
but
he's a
he'll-
singer, so it's
But he'll
different,
rap too. You know what I'm saying?
I
Like
guess like there's like talk singing. It's like different.
good
Chris
point,
Brown
yeah.
like kind of like raps, you know, but it's not like a rap.
Yeah.
That's
But I
how
feel like the
see
new
it.
wave of like rap is like there's not too many lyrical like
No, not
rap,
at all.
rappers
The
this
lyrical,
generation.
lyrical, miracle, spiritual individual. Like, just like everything is just like a cheesy rhyme, but like
Or they just end the word with, or the end the sentence with like the same word like
They
5
just-
times.
Yeah.
So like the N
Just
word,
repeat
they say the
themselves.
word N word, say like sentence N word, say the sentence
rhyme
N
the
word.
words
I'm just
itself.
like, bro, come on, have some originality.
Just say whatever. No rhyming, no
Yeah.
nothing. As long as it's catchy.
Yeah. There's literally people just listen
Yeah.
to like the beats now, the
Yeah, it's
21st
like,
century.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's fucking
I feel like it's an advantage being black for like freestyling.
What?
No, because like if you can't think of a word to say, you just say the N word or something.
Because I remember.
Filler word.
Because remember, like uni,
Yeah.
like Lil Pump had like the Gucci Gang, and
That's what I was thinking of right now,
like,
actually.
they had like a counter of how many times he says like Gucci Gang. It was like 250 times or something like
on
that.
one like on
One
track?
song,
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
that's the whole song
Yeah.
basically. It's just Gucci gang, Gucci gang.
So,
Yeah. They don't see that many like rap groups anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
Good point. Yeah, good point.
Yeah,
Who
like
was
back in the
it?
day, there's like Wu Tang.
NWA.
Yeah. Even
Uh,
what was that? Well, they had with 50. It was a G Unit.
G-Unit.
Yeah.
There's Young Money as well.
Young
something
Money
like
was
that.
tough,
So,
yeah.
it wasn't more like the
2000s.
label though.
Maybach
Yeah.
music.
Yeah,
that
we
shit was so
still are
hard.
Young Money, but it's like a group of artists that like
Yeah.
came together. So we have like collabs every now and then, but you don't have like a whole thing.
Yeah. Maybach
Okay.
music used to drop. They're called the self-made albums. Those are so fucking hard, bro.
Mm.
So fucking hard. They had like 1 through like 6 or something like that. Some shit like
Yeah.
that. Maybe 1 through 3 or something. But they were so fucking hard, bro. That era in rap, that era in music was so hard. I was actually just talking to my girl earlier. I'm like, dude, what the fuck were we listening to? I'm like, ass.
Yeah.
Ass.
Ass.
Yeah. He's like, now make that motherfucking
Yeah.
Bro, like,
Oh.
when I first heard that song, I thought like he actually had like a deep enough voice to say it like that low. I didn't know
Yeah.
that they were like pitch shifting
just
it back in the day.
Editing it.
Yeah,
I'm
bro.
like, how do you find these people? That's fucking nuts.
If you listen
bro.
to like a Big Sean, he sounds like a teenager still, dude.
That is really.
Yeah, he's like, what's going on? I'm like, it's not the guy I remember. Like, it's not the guy I remember.
He's changed.
Yeah.
He de-aged.
De-aged.
The older he got, the
He's
younger he
younger.
actually got.
He's going through reverse puberty.
This person's higher and higher.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's so funny, man.
Have you listened to the latest Tyler the Creator album?
No.
Oh, that shit was actually really good.
Was it fire? Yeah.
I think it was his best album so far, in my
Oh, really?
opinion. But some people, it was controversial. Some people like hated it because it wasn't enough like the more like hardcore stuff he had like back in the day.
Yeah.
But I personally like it because it was like a mix of like everything, and he was like a lot riskier with his productions.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've never been a Tyler the Creator fan, but I will say that I appreciate, and now that you tell me this too, I appreciate the fact that like he, even at this stage in his career, like he's still shooting, you know?
Mhm.
I don't
You
think
gotta
he's that
fucking
old
keep
though.
shoot.
Like early 30s maybe.
early 30s, but I think he's been around for what, 12 years?
Yeah, because he was like
yeah.
he might have been like 19 or something when he started.
Yeah, he's well
Making,
established too. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like everybody knows Tyler. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And like you expect him to like put out good shit.
It's part of
Yeah.
Odd Future, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
It was
100%.
like I wasn't like a really big fan of anything like before. Like I mean I wasn't really into like, I don't know if this is controversial, but I wasn't really into like Igor either. Like kind of like his older albums. I just like select singles, but then like Chromacopia was the first one where I'm like pretty much every song was good. I didn't know where like it came from, but
Was that an album or a mixtape?
album.
Album.
Yeah, but he had like a song called Sticky, and it featured like
It's like a big
even,
trend.
even
Yeah,
like
it's just
singing,
stuck in your
rapping it.
head.
Yeah, but like it featured like Glorilla, Lil Wayne. Obviously he was
Sexy
on there,
Red.
Sexy Red. But it was just such a fire beat, and like how I don't know if you mentioned this in a previous episode or podcast
Yeah.
episode, but like how they did the production was supposed to simulate like people freestyle rapping like at a lunch table, like they had the
Oh, that's
like that.
tough. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they were just like freestyling over it, and then it gets to like the they kind of like a big band like
Yeah.
thing, like because there's like different movements to it. It's such a catchy song.
That's so tough. Yeah, I gotta listen to
Yeah.
that shit. That sounds.
He's coming out with a music video soon, and like he showed like a preview like maybe a couple months ago. It was either a month or 2 months ago, but it was like basically like what they showed in like the 30 seconds was like the intro. And it looked like they were at a pep rally because with like the marching band that
Yeah.
like whatever. And a lot of people in the comment section were saying like, oh shit, like this is gonna be on the Super Bowl and everything because like
Oh, I heard
like,
about that. Yeah. Oh no,
yeah.
you're saying that. That's why. That's off.
and then
camera.
like it ended up being Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, dude, that was disappointing. By the way, the fucking Kendrick.
Oh, you didn't like it?
Nah, dude, I like Kendrick,
Yeah.
bro. I feel like he's had phenomenal music, bro.
Do you like better Kendrick or Drake?
Well, yeah.
there.
I think he alluded to that earlier though.
Drake for sure, but like Kendrick though, his OG shit, even up to like Damn was fucking really good. But To Pimp a Butterfly and then Untitled Unmastered,
Mhm.
phenomenal fucking albums, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just like great pieces of art, you know what I'm saying? And just like I don't know, I just feel like he didn't do I feel like his artistry wasn't like showcased as well as it could have because he was putting out just a bunch of like it was all surrounded by like this, you know what I'm saying? It was all surrounded by like his newest album, which I'm not a huge fan of it.
Because it's
but-
going at your boy.
Because he
You
dissed
know?
your boy.
You can't go at my dog like that.
How dare you, bro?
But yeah, bro, like that's really how I felt like, and I also just don't think like the performance is that good. What do you guys think?
I don't like this song. Like this, like he could have done something else.
Yeah.
But you know this is gonna happen regardless.
Yeah.
of
Well,
what
the
I'm
thing is, like,
saying. Yeah.
he got the Grammy for it, like I think like the week before, so it's like
Yeah.
obvious
Well, he
choice. He had to
swept
pick
from what
him.
I saw.
Yeah.
Like every category he was in, he won it.
Yeah. Which is crazy too. Think about it. Like out of all the work that he's put out there, he
Yeah.
gets a Grammy for this.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
It's
I don't
this.
understand,
I
bro.
don't know
Like
if he even likes the song that much. It's the one that blew
It's
up.
just so
for
popular,
whatever reason,
yeah.
so-
like
'cause it's so TikTok like worthy.
do you guys remember? Do you guys remember To Pimp a Butterfly?
I
I
don't. I just know like singles, or I
It's
just
so fucking good, bro. You listen to that front to back.
I gotta listen
so
to it.
good. So it's like that one and Damn. Well, Good Kid, Mad City obviously is classic, but
Yeah.
that one and Damn are like albums that you can listen front to back and then back to front,
Yeah.
and they're just fucking good. But To Pimp a Butterfly specifically, there's so many underlying messages, right? And it was so out there because it wasn't like they call it boom bap, right? It was not traditional like just boom bap, just fucking rapping on the beat.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
It's more so like they had monologues. They had like it was taking you through a story, right? One specifically that comes to my mind that's like on Damn. It's called Fear. It's
I think
so
I have that
good.
on my like songs playlist or something.
Bro, it's so good.
But,
It's so
Yeah.
fucking good, bro. It's just like it like steps into like the he's like almost like in a little kid's conscious, right?
Mm.
And then he steps into like his mom's position, right?
Mhm.
And like just how his mom's always beating the shit out of him, you know?
Mm.
And like he's always beating the shit out of him. Like for anything you do, I'll beat your
Yeah.
ass. I'll beat your
Oh,
ass.
okay, no, that's all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about?
Okay.
And like and then he steps back into the child's like conscious. It's
Yeah, yeah.
like, why God? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like, why do I have to suffer? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But then it like transitions to like the theme of the album is more so just violence,
Mm.
right? Like
Okay.
like gang violence, street violence, and like that's where he's essentially. I think he's alluding to like what's where it starts because
Mhm.
it starts in the
Mhm.
home, and how like kids come up with like a very violent upbringing.
Cycle
Right.
of abuse.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
cycle
like
of abuse.
generational, like it's like when you gotta like stop the generational cycle from happening.
Mhm.
Yeah,
it's-
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's pretty deep. I kind of like it when like because some rappers like they just rap about like drugs, hoes, and like money or whatever, and then
Yeah.
they'll come up with an album that's like super like self-reflective.
Super
I'm like,
deep
where did this come from? Yeah.
It's
I
'cause
mean,
other
that's what
stuff is
happened
more
with
popular.
Tyler the Creator, like the Chromacopia one. Like I think he has a song called like "Darling I," and I mean it's one of my favorite songs on the album.
Mm.
And he does a little bit of singing in there, but it's still like mostly rapping.
Mm.
But he talks about his like struggles with like not being able to be tied down by like one person. Like his struggle with like being like polyamorous and stuff like that. Because like he said, like I think he hints that there's some like trauma in his life that caused him to not be trustful of being in like one like being married to one person and like sticking with them.
Yeah.
And he gets different things from different people and they have to be okay with it. But like
Mhm.
one of his like ending lines I really liked from the song was like even if like things like don't work out, at least he has all these Grammys like around him basically because like if the romance thing doesn't work out, at least like his one true love music is still there.
Mhm.
It's like because some
that's
people like
cool,
without
yeah.
like the music they'd be like shit, like I'm gonna die alone, and it's like depressing. But he's like, at least I could say that I love music and I
Yeah.
could stick with that for the rest of my
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
So it's like a fallback.
Wow,
So
that's
it's
very
kinda deep.
interesting.
That's
Yeah, that is
deep.
very deep. You know, that's very deep. It's
Yeah.
like that's a sense of validation. It's a source of validation.
Yeah. And he also
Uh,
had a song called like Him. I don't know if you remember that one.
Like him.
Yeah, like it's actually one where he sings like a lot in the song, but I think in the intro his like his mom like basically does a lot of the monologues and like the intros of his songs, at least for this album, and like she was telling him about like how he reminds her too much about like her baby daddy basically.
mhm.
And then like at the end of the song he reveals well like the song's about him like not wanting to be like his father, but then he
Mhm.
finds out at the end that like in reality like it wasn't his dad who left the family. His mom actually pushed the dad away and made sure that he was trying to contact him, but his mom was like intercepting everything so that she couldn't contact him at all. And he's thinking like all this time I could have had a relationship with my father.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and just
Wow.
like it kind of gets deep, and I mean, I'm surprised his mom was willing
Okay
to
with that,
still.
yeah.
Like, yeah, it's kind of like
Wow.
some cool lore that
It's
like
just-
you wouldn't have ever like known.
Yeah,
And also
wow.
the songs were good too, so
Yeah.
it's like a cool backstory.
That's really fucking
Mhm.
cool, man. Yeah, no, it's just getting like just like an artist depiction of like different emotional states that we have
Yeah.
or different like emotional or traumas that we. Oh, before I forget,
Yeah,
speaking on that, right? Like the being like
something about your dad.
Trauma jump thing.
that I respect you. I respect you. Nah, yeah, bro. Actually, okay, we could talk about that too, just as far as like fatherhood and stuff like that. But
Dad
nah,
daddy.
man, it's interesting how we like praise like men who are out there, having sex with multiple women. You know what I'm saying? They got,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I got him on a call. You know what I'm saying? I can call him right now, and she'll come over, right?
Yeah.
Whatever. Oh, look at her, she's bad. And like a lot of times it actually stems from trauma. You know what I'm saying? Like those are the dudes that are like dealing with a lot of shit. And like their only like way of like expressing that or getting that out there
Yeah.
is by conquering more women.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's interesting, man.
No,
That's
everyone
fucking
I know that has that kind of issue, they usually have daddy issues generally. Like, their dad always like made them feel like shit about themselves, and they always feel like they have to like impress their father, or like even if their father's like dead, they feel like they have to like overdo it. Like they have to show how manly they are by like bagging a bunch of girls, but then like that creates like a generational cycle of like trauma as well, because like when you play with all these girls and then they start being distrustful of men in general because of the bad situations that they have, then it ruins it for the other guys that would have treated them better, because now these girls are traumatized and they're going to pass it on to like their kids, and they're going to be like helicopter parents and stuff like that too. And
Yeah,
you see it, and
100%.
it's like it doesn't look so obvious when you're a kid, but you meet enough people and you like you just kind of like look into different situations. Like there's obvious patterns
Mhm.
showing up everywhere.
But also now, like the world's a lot more like dangerous than it's probably been like 20, 30 years ago. Because probably for us growing up, we could like our parents just let us go out play with our friends,
Yeah.
and then be like,
Mhm.
"Oh, just be sure you're back before the sun's down." But now, like the people are like guns. People are
Yeah.
everywhere. People are getting shot at or kidnapped and stuff like that. Especially with all the people coming in. So just like so many factors that cause just even going outside your house dangerous. So
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree, bro.
So
I agree. Yeah, it's interesting, man. Like you don't like you would expect. I remember coming in when the sun was down.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe you can hang out a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You still hang out.
right.
in the burbs or in the city?
Suburbs, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I feel like growing up in the burbs is ideal for kids and stuff because
Oh,
Right.
you
agree.
have to spend
Right.
time outside.
Wholeheartedly. Yeah.
Right.
But if you're in the city, then like imagine getting robbed of your childhood because it's too dangerous outside.
Mhm.
Yeah, bro.
But then that's usually like a governance thing where you have if there's more crime in your city, you have to do more work. Like there's higher
Mhm.
expectations
Right.
to get rid of the crime, or else you can't open up businesses. Your kids can't thrive or whatever.
Right.
So
And it goes back to probably like generational like things. People like only for like those people in those communities, the only way to make it is like joining a gang or
Yeah.
becoming
So
a
just so
prostitute.
poor
You
and
know,
have no
so just
opportunities.
that cycle just keeps on repeating until like someone makes it into sport or gets educated in school and goes to college and stuff
Yeah.
like that to break that cycle. But that doesn't happen to majority of the people in those
Mhm. You just
communities,
kinda
which is
get stuck in
unfortunate. Yeah,
that
that loop.
loop. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then what happens is like if they do make it in some way, somehow, right? Whether it's a career, whether it's a athletic career or a
Mhm.
music career, like they move.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
leave
they
that
remove
area, yeah.
themselves
From
and
the
then somebody
community.
else just fills that void.
Right.
And then the same thing continues.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting, man. It's very interesting. Also, like, I don't know, man. I'm also a strong believer in, I know there's a lot of like federal or local organizations that try to help communities in that situation.
Right.
But it doesn't. Nothing can change unless it starts in the family.
Oh, I
you
agree.
know?
Yeah.
I think the family unit is so important. You know.
Mhm.
mhm.
Because it's where you really get to instill principles and values into like your
Yeah.
children.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But you can't have a family, like, you can't have those family values if you don't have a family. Like, there's definitely, like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
people that are orphan, like, maybe their parents are, like, no longer alive or something like that.
Right.
So it's kind of hard to, like, kind of, like, manage that situation.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that's where there's a lot of, like, nuance. And I feel like
Mhm.
a lot of, like, bad situations kind of congregate where there's a lot of people and,
Mhm.
but they're just, like, a higher expectation. It's kind of hard to, like, I don't know, just say, like, the family has to, like, be responsible.
Yeah, 100%. That's why I'm also like a strong believer in like the importance of religion
Mhm.
within
Yeah.
our communities.
Yeah.
I mean, in most cases, I mean, I have my own faith, but in most cases, I don't even think it's that important to have a specific religion
Yeah.
that's like
Mhm.
dominant in like the country or in the
Community.
community.
Yeah.
But more so the major religions that have like withstood the test of time are because they're based on the right principles and values. That's what
Right.
we need, just principles and values, you know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like,
You need something to ground you. Like,
yeah,
Yeah. Something to believe in.
yeah. True north, what's your true north?
North
Yeah.
Star.
You know?
Yeah.
I
But
feel
I
like
think. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go. 'Cause,
I was just gonna
talking.
just say like it also depends on, especially us like growing up, right? So we were very influenced on like our peers,
Yeah.
like saying high school, junior high. So like there was values of like, oh, I got to impress my friends in order to be
Mhm.
in with them. But
Yeah.
once you get hopefully in your 20s, you figure out who you are, what you value, and you don't really need this gratification from
Right.
friend groups and stuff like that. But some people still like try to impress people because that's the only thing they know. They never really
Mhm.
found who
Themselves.
they are. Yeah. So
Yeah. What was that last thing you said about friends? What was that last thing?
they try to like get gratification from their friends because
Yeah.
like in high school or college or even junior high, they're like,
Yeah.
oh, let me do this because my friends tell me to do this, or because they
Mhm.
think I think it's cool because everyone else
Yeah.
is doing
Now
it.
I like
So-
this thing because everyone's
Right.
doing it. I want to
Right.
fit
Yeah.
in.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. Actually, I think that's such a huge portion
Right.
part of like, I don't know. I guess growing up, I'd say,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
but more so just like, are you like? It's not your validation has to come from like are your actions aligned with what your principles are? You know what I'm
Right.
Yeah.
saying?
But I think like the big role of social media, it makes people lose what those values are.
Yeah. Good point.
So people do stuff like PO people, just in
Yeah.
order to get a reaction, but it's not really good value to have. Just so like, why do you want to do it? Because they want to do it for the views.
They want to
Yeah.
feel like
Right.
cool and important.
Yeah. Let me see how far I could like make this person mad before something happens for the content. I'm like, that's not like,
Yeah.
good
I get
things
those
to be
likes.
doing, right?
Except for that one dude, when he's called what's he called? He's like a short Hispanic dude. He's like he like moans in people's ears. He's
Oh,
like,
I think I've seen him.
Yeah,
I
he's
don't
like
know
when he
his
say
name.
he like fucking
Like he does in the libraries and shit. He's like,
yeah. Oh yeah,
Or he
Chumami.
does in like the he does in the
Okay, yeah,
grocery
like,
stores too, and like everyone's like, what the? Like they want to like start beef with him, he just like
Yeah.
runs off or whatever.
Yeah, bro. He's like Chumami, and then he's like, "What the fuck you say to me?"
Right.
No, I feel like that's different though. Just like that's kind of like if I was having a bad day and someone like moaned in my ear, I'd laugh my ass off, and then I would just it would put me in a better mood, you know. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like I feel like I need to like relax a little bit. And I feel like that would put
Catch
me in
you
the
off
zone
guard,
where
yeah.
makes me forget about like what I was thinking about.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
I feel like it's also like a matter of like who does it too. Like,
Yeah. I know you do it too.
We need some
Yeah.
weirdness in like everyday
Yeah,
life.
bro.
We're also
Yeah.
just like stern and serious. And,
yeah, bro.
yeah.
That's real. That's real. It goes
Yeah.
back to like, are you working to live or are you living to work? You know?
Right.
Mhm.
I dude, like because when I graduated college, right? Like that next Monday, I was already working at I started working at a dealership.
Okay.
So I got my degree in biology. I think I told you this, bro.
Oh, I don't never
That's
saw
what you're
your
doing right now
degree.
has nothing to do with what you studied.
Nothing at all.
It's
cool.
Nothing at all.
So why'd you start with biology? That's so like
He wants to learn about
Yeah.
the human body.
Yeah. Like Dexter and shit, you know. But like nah, bro. So okay, so I got into biology because my dad he got his degree in agriculture in Mexico, right?
Okay.
Mhm.
agriculture. You're looking at it like
Yeah,
okay.
bro. And then so he came over here. He worked in construction, right?
Yeah.
So unfortunately, he wasn't able to like fulfill that. But
Mhm.
he always had me watching like different like just animal shows, just
Yeah.
different shit. He would always talk to me about like what's new in science, or whatever, you know.
Oh yeah.
And then so it was natural for me to get into like physical therapy / biology,
Mhm.
you know. But that didn't. It's not that it didn't work out. It's more so that it wasn't something that truly interested me like
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
It does, but not for me to work in it full time.
Right.
Right.
And then also just like in the situation I was in, I need to fucking make some money. You know what I mean? Like, I
Mhm.
need to make some money right now. And so I got into sales because there was two options, right? And my parents hated me for this, but I was like,
Yeah.
all right, listen, I gotta get into sales or I gotta get into marketing. Either one of those two,
Mhm.
you know? And so I ended up getting into sales, which is in the first sales company. I wanted to do medical sales,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
the
okay.
first companies that would respond to me were car sales. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have
Experience or
the
whatever?
Experience, yeah.
Yeah.
Like anybody like med sales, they were looking for people that had like 3
high
4 years.
risk or what?
Hmm?
It's like a high risk position where
In med sales.
yeah.
Well, in med sales, it's like
Probably
you're-
selling new like drugs that they're like testing or something
Or
like
like
that, you know, or like
medical
making people aware.
technology.
Yeah.
like pharmaceutical. That would
Yeah.
be,
Yeah.
you know, you're introducing new drugs into the market.
Right.
You're primarily working with doctors or like inventory managers at a hospital,
Right.
and so you have to
Makes
be
sense.
like you kind of have to be like a very like well established person. You know,
Yeah.
You're meeting with high end professionals. you
Yeah,
know?
they're not gonna just trust like a random 22-year-old that just
Yeah.
started.
Yeah.
No, bro.
Like just trust me, bro. This product is
It's gonna work. It's
Yeah.
gonna
It's
work.
good. It's good. It's the best drug around.
Save your life.
Trust me. You
You're not
need
polished
this.
at all. It's
Yeah,
like,
like,
bro,
what?
come on, man, just buy it, bro. Come on.
You need it, bro.
Whereas
But-
car like salesmen, like they scam people all the time.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, bro. It gets
it's like, you
it
know.
gets slimy, bro. It gets slimy.
Yeah.
It's
That's
a
their
fun game.
livelihood though.
Yeah.
So they have to do some underhanded tactics in order to make a living.
It's the name of
Yeah,
the game.
yeah, yeah.
So
It was fun as fuck, but like it was fun as fuck. But there was some shit where it's like I look back, I'm like, oof,
how long
You
did you
know?
do it for?
like 2.5 years.
Oh wow.
Okay.
It's like I only ruined like 5 people's lives.
Right.
It's like,
No, I
could
was
go
pretty good
worse.
at it, bro. I think I did more than 5.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna use this for good.
But it goes back. All right, it ties back into like sales and like the art of the sale, you know,
Mhm.
Right.
and like how you can position it and position people to have like this intrinsic desire to like
Yeah.
I gotta buy this, you know what I'm saying? By just like opening up a wound, you know, and then
Well, it's like FOMO, stuff like that too.
FOMO.
A lot of
Yeah.
people buy
FOMO is
stuff.
very
It's just
strong.
like, oh, all these people on social media, all my friends have this one. Let me buy it too,
Everybody
even though they
has
don't
this.
even need it at all.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
buy it,
And
don't
And it's
even
just
use
national
it.
consumerism.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly. And then how do we get into this topic?
I don't know. We're talking about values and stuff like that. I don't know how.
Fuck,
Like,
You're
Dude,
talking about your
that's-
dad and like
You went
showing
to
you all this
college.
agriculture stuff.
Yeah, and then what? And then why did I talk to him about this shit?
I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Literally.
No, you
I don't
actually
know.
just like change the subject. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, something about my dad, and then you didn't
You're
really finish
That's
that.
why
Yeah.
And then you start talking about how you got into your career, which
yeah,
had
the
nothing
career.
to do with what your original point was.
Yeah, bro. I'm just fucking. I'm talking
That's
about.
all right,
taking
bro.
your ear off, dude.
Nah, bro, that's what we do here.
That's all right. Yeah.
But so essentially,
We'll just go on with the thought
Yeah.
you're on now with your career and sales.
so then essentially, I think I got into that's when I left and I got into what I was doing now. Fuck, dude, I don't even know why.
I think you're trying to imply that your dad was teaching you certain values or something, and it was
Maybe.
like,
Values or career or something. I don't know.
Oh yes,
light bulb.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
so. So
Just roll with it.
what's interesting, right?
Just make something up.
Actually.
So I started working with like when I came over to like where I'm at now, I started working with a bunch of people who, naturally just don't look like me, right?
Mhm.
And so they come from different backgrounds. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And then when I brought on my assistant, she was also like from the same background as I
Yeah.
am.
Mhm.
And so what happened is that like she's like, oh well, we're both Mexican, obviously. You
Yeah.
know? And
Oh,
so
you
she's like,
didn't know that. I mean, they like
wasn't
your
able
assistant.
to
I don't know who your
tell.
assistant is. So like, okay.
And then so she's like, I don't know, I just feel like out of place. I'm like, why? And she's like, well, because they're not, I feel like I've never been around this many like people that are different than me,
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Welcome
yeah,
to
but-
America.
And I was just like, yeah, but like, yeah, I think more like this, like, do they align with the same principles? Do they believe in the same things as far as like family? Do they believe in hard work? Do they believe in like
Right.
taking care of your people? Do they believe in like, doing the right thing? I'm like, so yeah, they are, although they may not have the same nationality or the same, like, they didn't
Appearance.
or speak the same language. Like the principles are what allow you to relate and like be part of this community, which is our work
Yeah.
community,
But also think about it, like you guys are kind of like pioneers to like a movement for like your cultural background.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's a great, it's a very interesting. Yeah, very interesting.
So it's something to like take pride in. You
Yeah.
know, like a lot of at least speaking from the Asian perspective, like we're just known for like being good at math or whatever. Like I wouldn't say like I'm necessarily in that boat.
Yeah.
But like now I see a lot of like Asians that are getting to like hip hop and like R&B and stuff like for music.
Yeah.
There's a lot more like Asian Americans that are getting to like sports, like especially like basketball and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
boxing.
Well, just like I don't think it's like on like a global scale. Because like for example, like Japan is really good at baseball, but since it's not the MLB,
it's not like an Olympic.
we don't know
Yeah.
that they're actually
Or
really
it
good.
is, I think.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
good point.
Yeah.
Because they had
point.
essentially 2 years ago, they had this thing called the World Baseball Classic, which is basically like the Olympics for baseball.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
the team that won was Japan.
Oh wow.
Oh,
beat-
Japan
yeah.
won?
They beat the USA.
Oh,
Wow.
shit.
So like you wouldn't know that.
You didn't think about that,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So
You
I
think
think it's
baseball,
just
I think America.
exactly.
Yeah.
So you just don't know like what's out there because the world's like so vast. But like there's like other Asian countries that are good at stuff. You just don't have probably the accessibility to actually watch them.
Yeah.
But also if they come here, then it's another story. Because arguably
Wow.
the best player right now is like someone that's Japanese. So
Is it
Yeah, the guy in the
Otani?
Dodgers, right?
yeah, Shohei Otani.
Yeah. Fucking animal, dude.
He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. No question. So,
Yeah, I feel like Americans like just really invest all of the money into the sports that Americans are good at, and then
Oh
like,
yeah.
Yeah,
no doubt.
definitely.
Yeah, so like
Yeah.
I feel like maybe I can't prove this, but like maybe baseball is not as invested into as much as like a football or basketball
Mhm.
because it's not like America is not number one anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dominated. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, historically, like, the U.S. has dominated, like, the Olympics, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean China's pretty good.
China's, yeah.
China's like number
Number two,
one
I'd
B
say.
or like number
Yeah.
two.
Oh,
or
really?
something.
The rival.
Oh, shit.
It's pretty like spot. Like I feel like we're like we're either tying or we're edging them on gold. But like I think China might have more silver and bronze or something. so.
No, we dominated silver and bronze, but like I think China was like really close to us in golds.
Oh wow.
Whoa.
Yeah.
But they're consistent like that. I mean, you have a nation with 1 billion people. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's true.
hopefully you have like the
Hopefully,
cream of the
yeah.
crop. You know?
That's very true. Yeah.
We have
Yeah.
300 million. They have
They have a lot more options.
Yeah, they have a lot more people to pick from than us.
It's just process of elimination.
Yeah,
But it's
They
crazy
have a
to
lot
think
more.
about that we have a lot less people, but we still manage to put out more output and stuff like that.
Well, it depends
Yeah.
on resources too.
Yeah.
There's
Good
a lot
point,
more
yeah.
better facilities. Well, I mean, probably China has good facilities too, but
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
why do you think it is? Like, what about America makes us, I guess, like on top of the world? Is it like the diversity,
I think it's
or is it
focus.
like we attract a lot of the best people to immigrate to the U.S. or something?
True.
Yeah, the big
So
melting
like,
pot.
there's like a lot of things that happen.
I also think it's focus too, like how much importance we place on athletics,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Because we're not necessarily some of the best in like the STEM fields,
Okay.
you know, like education wise, we're not that good
We
at
were
it
at one point.
at one point, you know.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Back
But
before they implemented the Department of Education, we were number one like a lot of things.
Oh, wow.
But once they implemented it, like we plummeted.
wow, really?
Yeah.
And I
Oh,
know
it was
that.
before they made it a federal thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But the whole concept of the Department of Education was to like keep that, but
That was
Yeah.
like
They
the
got more
70s or
political.
80s, I think. And then
Wow.
I think the early 2000s with like No Child Left Behind with like George Bush.
right.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a stupid like thing to
Uh-huh.
pass. I don't know if it was like bipartisan or whatever, but like they basically made like grade school easier so it would be easier to pass on paper, but then you just
Right.
have a lot of stupid people graduating high school.
Right.
Yeah.
Not trying to like say everyone's stupid. I'm just saying like our standards are not
Well, it's
to the
definitely
same
getting
level
lower.
as like
Yeah.
maybe in Asia or whatever.
Right.
And
Yeah.
they're still outperforming us even though their school's harder.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting, right? Because I guess that's just us. We have to come to grips that like not everybody's gonna be graduating middle school. I think that's natural. I mean, it happens in
It
other
happens
countries.
in most
like-
countries. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
but-
most I think only half or less would graduate high school.
Yeah.
Really?
And they're
Wow.
paying for their own high school. It's not necessarily funded by property taxes like we do
Mhm.
here. So
Yeah, I mean, like it's
it's a
just,
privilege to
it
get
is a privilege, yeah.
education in general.
Yeah. No doubt.
Yeah, 100%. That's great. Yeah, that's a great point. It is a privilege.
Yeah.
You know, maybe some people don't even want it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Like, if somebody wants to go in and be a master of their craft, whether it be a mechanic,
Yeah.
whether
in the
it be a
workforce,
tradesman,
trade. Yeah.
yeah, which is like, I don't understand, dude. There's a lot of success to be had in those
Yeah.
in those industries.
I
you
just
know?
feel our generation isn't one to like gravitate toward like the blue collar work. A lot of
Right.
people want to be white collar or
Right.
like something that's very niche because like a lot of people are like Dom's kind of like in that like group is like no like that's not a bad thing.
No,
We're
no,
just,
what you
like
mean, though.
like want to be like in game design.
Yeah, the
'cause,
more
like,
creative stuff,
yeah,
the more
stuff
fun
like that.
jobs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And-
But also like we have more opportunities to like go to the traditional like school route because of
Mhm.
the internet. There's so many
Mhm.
ways to, like you
Mhm.
could be an entrepreneur through e-commerce and stuff like that.
Yep.
It
Mhm.
wasn't available 20 years ago. So there's more opportunity now than there ever has been.
Yeah, true. I think it's all fucked up too, because it's like, well, let's say like in college, right? There's tons of like degrees that you can get. Where it's like, you probably could have been better at that in those first 4 years. You probably would have been better off by just experiencing it.
Yeah, that's how
instead
my
of,
field is.
yeah.
Like, degrees are worthless for that kind of like creative field. You're better off just teaching yourself for those 4
Yeah.
years or just studying or trying to make something.
Mhm.
That makes a lot of sense. Like
Yeah.
doing it, like have the experience. How many times have you scraped your knees and like fixed your errors? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Or like, and where does that internal drive? Do you have an internal drive to do it? You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Yeah.
Because
Mhm.
like I'm assuming that for your field, like there's a lot of, I mean, a ton of fields too, but like
Yeah.
specifically for you, like there's a lot of hard work
Yeah.
that doesn't get showcased because you're locked in. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You're locked in, and it's not something that people aren't gonna see until you have the finished product.
It's like the 10,000 hours thing, right?
Type shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because
Become a
like,
pro
100%.
at something.
with
yeah.
art, right? You can't make one good drawing to make like 1,000 bad drawings. That's
Yeah.
kind of how it is.
I think we should. You know what? Speaking of that, I
Yeah.
think we'd probably get a lot from apprenticeships.
No, definitely.
I
Have
think
like
a
a
lot
mentor.
of blue collar places have that, which I think more places in the white collar should include that.
100%.
It helps
yeah.
a lot. Just
Yeah.
having someone look over you and say,
Right.
hey, this way. Or,
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. And it makes sense. Like, I know that like in the union it's hard to get into it, but it's like, bro, just make it fucking easier, dude. You have a larger workforce.
Mhm.
You just weed out the people that aren't gonna be good enough to make
Yeah.
it, right?
Right.
But the people that are, they go through a strenuous apprenticeship where they get paid. They're able to pay their bills.
Right.
Once they get into ready to go on their own, okay,
Yeah.
cool. Now you're an official X person, right, or X position, and we have higher quality work, right? We have somebody who's wanted this, right, because they've been through like a year or two of apprenticeship,
Mhm.
and 3, their work is sharp. They're
Yeah.
sharp. They're
Yeah.
prepared.
Like, so this is where it kind of gets like political almost, just because like I feel like there's a good reason why they're really like high schools in general are like really pushing people to go to college, because I mean I don't really think there's that many like blue collar jobs right now, and there wasn't for the past like 20 or so years. I mean, a lot of it has to do with outsourcing, and also like I guess taking like undocumented immigrants to like work those jobs and like
Mhm.
undercutting their wages
Right.
and stuff,
Mhm.
because it's a good way to like have these like
Maximize
manufacturing
profit.
businesses profit. And I
Yeah.
came from
Mhm.
like manufacturing, where like 75% of like the people who would be working at the facilities are people that like don't have their papers, and like I know they're getting paid like 11 an hour or less. Where like the job, like if it was given to like an American, it would have paid like enough for someone to like raise a whole family and stuff like that. So it's like there's a lot of like dirty tactics and there's a lot of politics that like happen behind it. There's a lot of like lobbying and stuff like that. But then like the issue is now that like a lot of people are graduating from college and expecting white collar jobs, but those are also being outsourced to like other countries too. So you have a lot of people that are in debt that can't pay off their debts. And now like we're just like blaming the system.
Right. And just the growth of AI. So like sometimes
That too, yeah.
you go into an industry or school and you think it's going to be something that's going to be there for so long. But then AI has become more into the day-to-day life and things to be efficient at this company. Like your job becomes obsolete.
Yeah.
So,
I wonder how that transition is going to go.
yeah.
You know?
Let's hope for the best. Like
Right.
there's nothing we could do individually, but you know, because the thing is, I think it's inevitable that we're gonna move on to like AI because if we don't do it, then like China's gonna do it and like everyone else is gonna follow. And if you're not the one like number one at it, then they get all the business and then their economy becomes like better.
There's
So,
a
like,
huge race right now.
Yeah.
Right. There's a huge race going on right now, which is interesting, bro. We're living in a fucking weird time.
Well,
dude.
I don't think our jobs are gonna be replaced in the next like 20 years, but it's gonna get there
It's gonna be
eventually.
changed up.
Yeah.
I think there's always gonna be humans are always gonna be valuable because as valuable as ChatGPT is, and ChatGPT is fucking awesome. I feel like the human interaction, like that's never gonna go away.
Yeah.
Well, I think it depends. It's kind of crazy how the world is, especially how like the pandemic was. Like, self-isolation is kind of like more prevalent than it's ever been because of like, yes, we have our phones, so like the world is literally on our fingertips, but people have felt more alone than like they ever been before.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't think there is that human interaction per se as much as there was before the pandemic.
Right. That's a good point.
I think there's gonna be like a AI bubble. Like, you know how like we had like the .com bubble and like I think a lot of people were thinking like, oh, computers will just like replace our jobs.
Yeah.
But it created new industries and now we have like so many people working just like social media marketing and stuff like that.
Tech is
and, like
the biggest
data
industry.
analytics,
Yeah.
computer science. But now there's AI and then like if some industries get it taken care of, there's still a lot of problems to fix. So they'll have to create new industries that like require humans to do a lot of like trial and error before the AI can even think of, or they can't think, but before people can think of using AI to like take over those industries.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I work in supply chain. It just feels like everything's a problem, and like so we can use AI, but then like new problems will show up, and like it takes a long time to train the AI to like adjust to those problems as well. But we can use it right now to like handle the stuff that's like easy and like it's just like monkey work basically.
Yeah.
But I think that's like with a lot of industries, like you could use it, and if you don't use it, then you're gonna lose to your competition. So
Yeah. I think it's just a much more efficient Google.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It really is.
It's like saves you so much time besides having to like search through, like, you know, you could just plug in a question, give it the context, and it'll give you.
Well, now Google has AI too. Like usually at the top when you search it, it's like literally the AI response. So they're implementing AI.
That's tough.
It's going back and forth now. Going in a circle.
It's nice. It's like, dude, you just plug it in, and at the top it gives you like a summary of like all the fucking following.
Right.
think about like a new industry that can pop up, like AI lawyers. Like if someone's
that'd
gonna
be
use
crazy.
AI to do like deep fake like porn or whatever, now like, that's literally like a thing. Like they're trying to like introduce like a bill in Congress to like ban it, and it's like totally like bipartisan. But then like if someone tries to do something that's illegal with that, then you're gonna have lawyers that represent that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And like think of like the possibilities that AI could create in terms of like entertainment and stuff like that. But then like with more growth creates more problems, and then we're just adjusting to something else.
Yeah, it's a
So,
good
like,
point.
That's my mindset with it.
I think we talked about this part, not with Carlos, but we talked about like fabrication of stuff of like, that's funny, yes, but like say for example, like Trump, Biden, and Obama are playing Rocket League together, but they never played Rocket League, but it's AI generated. So it's just like goofy things like
funny.
that, you know? Yeah, it's funny, but it also could be like taken the wrong way. Like, oh, someone said something that's controversial, but they never said that in actuality. But people now just read headlines. It's like, oh, this person said this, but when they actually look into it and research it, that never happened. So just AI can be quite scary as well.
Yeah, it can.
And then to that degree,
Can you imagine like an AI podcast or something like they could just like learn our like our mannerisms or whatever, and then just recreate a whole video, and we'll like they kind of know like the general topics that we talk about, and
It'd be weird.
it's just like a whole hour episode, and we don't do anything.
It's so
We
strange.
train it on like
Own,
50
bro.
videos or something, and
To see what it
kinda
comes up with.
crazy.
Yeah.
That'd be so weird.
Yeah.
Start saying some crazy shit, dude.
Yeah, just to cancel.
Kids inspired, you know. Yeah, bro. Well, you know what's interesting though? As our focus goes that way, I think there's still so much opportunity in like the menial stuff. You know what I mean? Like the fucking like construction.
Mhm.
There's so much money in construction, bro.
Well, blue collar is not going to go away.
Yeah, it's not gonna go away. And if you're somebody who can utilize AI, right, utilize all these new tools, like bro, you could just dominate because it's construction just has a bunch of older companies that they have a way of doing things, and
Yeah, they're sticking to it.
They're
yeah.
sticking to it, Which to each their own. I think that why fix something that's not broken,
Right.
but at the same time, it's like how efficient can you be? You know what I'm saying? How much more outreach do you have?
Yeah.
And like by using AI, you could probably cut a lot of costs.
Yeah.
By being more profitable over that.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, man. I don't know. I think there's a lot of like opportunity to be had.
Yeah.
It's definitely like a SWOT type of thing. Like, what's the strength, weaknesses, opportunity,
Yeah.
threats?
Just gotta
to
see
AI
where it goes.
SWOT
So-
analysis.
Good old stuff we did in
lot of
school.
power.
so.
AI teachers.
AI
That's so weird to
Interesting.
think about.
Are they gonna be hot?
I guess.
Because I'm not thinking about robots. It might just be like a voice or something.
Oh,
Because I know there's like a lot of apps where it's just like, oh, you want an AI girlfriend? You can design her however you want.
Yeah,
and like,
it's-
I'm
it's
on
like, what
YouTube,
the-
I get an ad. I'm like,
Yeah,
that's just so weird.
that's-
But people do it because
that's
it's
a
a thing.
problem, bro.
Yeah, that's weird.
I feel like it's gonna happen soon. Like, you know how they have like the Meta, what's it called? The
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 glasses.
Oculus and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
You can be
before
do-
you know it, it's
You know,
like
hologram
just a
girlfriend.
VR girlfriend, boyfriend, or whatever. You could customize them to look however you want.
That'd be
and
so weird.
And that goes back to like
Yeah.
what Carlos was saying, like we're not really
Connecting.
deconnecting personally. I mean, he
Yeah,
did
bro.
say the other way, and I proved like it's like more the opposite. But it's still how it got into this is just all the AI stuff. People are becoming more reliant on like that for interaction than
Just having chat
Yeah.
AIs and
Yeah.
talking to them like they're the friends.
exactly.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, right? Because like that is gonna be prominent.
Oh,
Why?
yeah.
Because same thing with porn is prominent because it's easy,
Yeah.
ease of access, right?
Mhm.
Us as humans are always gonna go to what's easy,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
What's the lowest risk for the highest return?
Right.
Mhm.
Instead of let's just say like finding a genuine relationship through relationships that you already currently have,
Mhm.
right? Because that requires you to nourish the relationships, to be a genuine person, to be an
Right.
honest person, to be somebody that people want to be around of,
Yeah.
which requires work, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like it just requires you
Yeah.
being a good person. You know what I'm saying? Like and somebody who attracts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like who would like, oh yeah, I want to be around this guy. You
But I
know?
feel like a lot of Gen Alpha and Gen Beta people are becoming like
Whoa, what is
socially
that?
awkward. Like the next generation, we're Gen Y, we're the millennials, and you have Gen Z. So it's like 2 generations or 3 generations
oh
after.
shit.
So it's like the
Alpha and
11-year-olds, 10-year-olds,
Yeah.
and then I don't know what the age is, but like the upcoming generation with technology, like they're becoming like so dependent on technology, they're becoming like socially awkward and have
Yeah.
social anxiety and stuff like
Yeah.
that because
Yeah.
they're not really
They're iPad
interacting
kids.
and
Too much
building like
soy.
relationships.
Too much
and stuff, you know what I'm
soy.
saying? So,
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah.
like really interesting how the landscape is with like technology of like people having it at birth to
Yeah.
now.
Mhm.
Because for us, we're like in our 10 years old, you know.
We had a balance with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's like the cultural front, like in my opinion. Like you can't really like legislate, like you have to act a certain way so that society like becomes what it's supposed to be.
Mhm.
Like you probably have to have like a cultural like shift in things where people like I guess like you could say like they become more woke to like the current issues. And then like you kind of like let's say like it's
What
almost
does
like
that
having
mean?
it's like having like a family unit without like having a family unit. Like you have like do you like I remember when I was like a kid, there were like I'd be like in middle school, like 7th or 8th grade, but I always like looked up to the people that were like in 11th or 12th grade or whatever, and like I wanted to like know what they did to get into like whatever sport they're in or like music or whatever, and
Mhm.
see what it takes to like excel in those kind of things.
Mm.
But we don't really have a lot of role models anymore, and
Right.
or maybe we don't have enough good role models, and that's something where like
Oh, definitely. We don't have any role models. That's for sure.
like we as a people, like while like AI is advancing, like we need self-control to like not get obsessed with like the toxic parts of it.
Right, right. I also speaking of that, I think it's just gonna all revert back to survival of the fittest, right? And it's like the ones who continue to value personable relationships, or
Yeah.
continue to value their values, or continue to value like their ability to like control their anxiety, control their emotions, be able to communicate properly. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Exhibit value. You know, like there's gonna be the ones that they're the cream. The cream will rise to the top, right?
Yeah.
So they're gonna rise to the top, and then the people who can't, unfortunately, as much as we want everybody to win, they just won't. You know?
Like, have you heard of like I forgot the formal term for it, but like the 80-20 rule?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like
What
you
is
could
that? There's a name for that. There's a.
yeah, I forgot what it was called, but I learned a lot of it when I was studying like industrial engineering. The thing is like with the 80-20 rule, it's not just like in business, you see it like everywhere.
Yeah.
Like on dating apps, like let's see, 20% of the men get like 80% of like the matches or whatever.
Yep.
I think same thing with like girls too. You see in business like 20%, or even like economics, 20% of people own like 80% of like the country's wealth.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But we
Mhm.
can't just like resort to I mean, like maybe I'm going against like what I said before. Like we need the culture to shift, but it's a lot more complicated than just like letting the cards like land where they fall, because there's still going to be a lot of inequality in like everything.
I think that's
Like because you said like the cream of the crop, that like that's like the top 20%, but you can't have a society where 80% of the people are unhappy, because that usually leads to revolution or like mistrust in like society and stuff like that.
yeah.
It's like the breakdown of society as we know it.
That's true. I think like on a smaller scale though, because even if like the cream of the crop, and I don't necessarily mean like you're gonna be filthy and rich. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just because you do these things, but you will be able to live a high quality life, which is what people are looking for. In my opinion, I don't think most people can really. It doesn't matter like how many zeros you have behind or in your bank account. It's more so
Well, it depends on like cost of living and stuff. That's
Cost of
always
living in your area.
inflation and stuff like that.
yeah. So like your demographic, the area in which you live in, how much does it
Right.
cost to live a good, high quality life where you can provide for the people that you care about, have extra to spend and enjoy your life,
Yeah.
right? And so those are the people that are going to be able to one, have more children because you're able to sustain them. Two, those children are going to be much more successful because you're able to dedicate more time to their development and all those
And
things.
resources.
And resources.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. And so, and they're gonna grow within a community that, again, like people are attracted by like people, so they're gonna be in communities where they're
Good
surrounded
valued.
by. Yep.
Good valued communities
Mhm.
have the same values as your wouldn't ideally instill to your children and stuff like that. So
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as much as like yes, like as much as it could be a danger to society, right? Because there could be rebellions, it could be something like that, right? Disgruntled citizens. I think at the same time, it's like, I think that's just the nature of our being, you know?
human nature.
Human nature.
Kind of
You
nature.
kind of have to like go against it like a little bit. I mean, like I guess that's like the main challenge, or else like we can't just keep following like the same path and like not changing like the direction that we're moving.
Mhm.
Because I feel like things are kind of, I mean, like I don't mean to sound morbid, but I feel like things are kind of like going down like a dark path. Like people don't see it now, but like I see things changing, and you know, like like you said, like masculinity is like really important to you. It's also like important to me as well. Or like it's even femininity. It's kind of like we might as well try to like find our strengths and like stick with them and like teach like the next generation how like we were able to like make it.
Yeah.
And I don't really
Yeah.
see that happening enough. There's a lot of people that feel lost, and like we have more ease of communication with social media, but people are using it for not the right reasons. So you know, there's a lot of brain rot where like we
There's a
can
lot.
we can literally turn it around and make it like easier for people to like educate themselves.
Yeah.
You know, like I guess like with freedom comes, I don't know, great responsibility. Like don't mean to quote like Spider-Man.
Uncle
That's
Ben.
not the
That's a great
exact
power.
quote. It's
Yeah.
not the exact quote, but like you can't, like, too much freedom is not good, but also like not enough freedom is also like not good. But you have to find that like middle ground, and you have to be able to understand like nuances in like every aspect of life, and operate under that like assumption that everything's gonna be nuanced and everything's gonna be gray area. It's not black or white anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. That's it. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Good mic
That's
drop
it.
then,
That's
right?
that's a good point. Let's wrap it up. But yeah, that was all. That got a lot deeper than I was expecting.
We're ending it on a cliffhanger, bro.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah,
We
I'm
might
your
see a
host,
part
Dom, with the boys, Jason and Bryan, our special guest, Dame from the game, Carlos. Do you have any closing remarks?
But no, I mostly just I appreciate you guys inviting me over, man. This was phenomenal.
Of course.
You know, I think the conversation was great. I haven't had a moment like or a time where I completely disconnected and had just conversation for an extended period of time. Where we covered like multiple topics, and it was great, man. It was a great like mental exercise for one, two, great way to connect with you guys.
Yeah.
Real
And
connection.
and again, man, I appreciate the invite. So whenever you guys want to have me back,
Audience, let them know
Let 'em
if you
know.
want Carlos
Let 'em
back
know.
again.
I mean, like,
Let us know in the
you know how
comments.
I know, like, we were talking about like cultural stuff. I guess like this might be the culture, just like podcasting, educating.
Everyone's having a podcast.
yeah.
Podcast
Well,
rule the world.
You know what?
Yeah.
I think it serves a purpose, bro. Because
Yeah.
I think it's like it forces you to like obviously disconnect from your phone,
Mhm.
Yeah.
disconnect from what's going on, and then have a conversation.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a really good point because like we're not on our phones. We're just
Just
talking,
talking,
bro. This is
Talking.
what people used to do back in the day.
That's what it's not.
But ironically, people are going to be like watching this from a phone. So like,
Yeah.
phones are not all bad, but there's nuance.
All
to
things in
everything.
moderation.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
things in moderation,
Yeah.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Cool.
Going back to those phrases that
Yeah.
you know have stood the test of time.
Hell yeah.
But all right. Bye.
All right, see y'all.
Okay. Peace.
We ended it. Just kept talking. I was
I
like, oh,
was like, I guess we're not ending it.
should I do a separate outro, or did I just say bye?